Okay, guys, let's do this. This is going to be an action-packed 47 minutes. So I have till 2:50. I want to be able to shift some things for each and every one of you guys here. I want to bring some energy to this. And I thought what would be fun is to start off here today is to have Sheira come on. And Sheira, maybe tell me, you're just finishing up a week of coaching all these lovely people. What are you seeing as some of the trends? What are some of the commonalities that you're seeing? What are some of the things that that you've heard over and over and over again? Any themes that you're seeing with people?
Good question. There has been a theme. There have been a couple actually, and one of the big conversations I've heard from a lot of folks is this feeling of overwhelm.
Mm,
And it's taken on a couple of different shapes. There are folks who are experiencing a really busy season right now,
yep.
and they're like, "Oh my gosh, my pipe! I like, I'm grateful for all this business, but I can't do my marketing because there's just not enough time in the day. I don't know how to get everything
Mm,
done." There's overwhelm around, man, the marketing is working, the system's working. I'm getting to, I'm doing 7 or 8 loans a month. I don't have the right support in place yet. Like, what do I do? How do I get through this when I don't have the systems in place?
mhm,
I don't have an assistant or the right team. And then the other overwhelm is on the flip side. In some markets, it's a little bit more quieter, and it's like, man, I'm doing all the right things, but I'm just nothing's working, or I'm losing people to rate, and I'm overwhelmed because I can't get out of my own head because I'm focusing on what's missing and what's
mm,
not working, and I'm looking at all these people succeed, and I'm just like, ah.
mm.
So overwhelm has been a big topic.
Well, cool. So let's break that into two different things, guys. So I want to give you guys the space if there's any tactical questions that you have for me, anything like, when you talk about, hey, I'm doing 7 to 8 loans a month and I don't have an assistant, that could be a straight tactical question. So if anybody has something like that, I want to give you guys the space there. Um, what I've noticed from coaching is it's usually 90% mindset questions, even though people think it's a tactical question, and then 10% tactical question. So let me start with this with you guys too. I'm going to say this, and some of you are going to be like, that doesn't make even a lick of sense to me, Deryck. And I want to give you guys that space that that's okay too. So I'm seeing all of you guys on a gallery view right now. So I'm going to say this, and if you want further clarification or you don't understand what I'm saying, just raise your hand. It's never the situation, it's always your thoughts about the situation. Does everybody let me ask like this, who wants further clarification around that? Or what in the heck are you talking about, dude? Wow, on the first page, everybody's seems like they got it. Second page, anybody raise your hand, you want further clarification around that?
It's a highly evolved group.
Wow, Sherry, you're doing a good job. They've all got it all figured out. So you guys got this all figured out? There's no overwhelm or anything with anybody? Okay, good. You guys are dismissed. Uh, so, well, what I think we're going to do is we'll get into some individual things and see if we can flesh it out right now. Um, as far as any tactical questions that you have too, I want to give you guys the space there too. So I want you guys to think about this right now. What is it really? What is it really? What are you stuck around? What are you challenged with? What obstacle do you see? What barrier do you see right now? What's holding you back from your greatness? What is it? What's holding you back right now? What is the one thing? And if you can't figure it out, this is a good way to do it too. If I was to come and sit in your office for a full week, what would I say is the one thing that's holding you back? So I want everybody, if you're on this call and you're not driving, to write in the chat box. And then I'm going to read down through the chat box and I'm going to see if there's anything that I see in here. So, Chrissy Hardy, let's talk about that. I am doing too many emails. What does that mean? Mike Allen might have the same issue.
It just means that I'm not prioritizing the important tasks. Like I'm sitting here, reading and moving emails around, responding. So for me, I need to hire another person to do that stuff.
Okay, before you do that, let me help you, and this will help anybody that's through this, and anybody that's at a hiring phase right now. I want you to define for me what would success look like for you and this new person that you would hire.
I've actually been thinking a lot about it. Someone who can just pick it up when it pick it up and go with it. So they don't have to come to me to ask every single little question. They literally know how to handle the situation. Basically, me. Okay. I want someone to be me so I can focus on the bigger picture stuff.
Well, that's not going to happen. So I think what's better is if you can say what would the best result be for you with this person? And I'm going to keep pushing you because I want, and this goes for everybody, so I want you guys to all watch this, because if you're not at this point, you will be at this point. Okay. So I want you to watch this. This is the mistake that almost everybody makes. What Christy just said is, I want to hire me because that's how we think.
I already have a non-me, by the way. I already have somebody who's not like me at all.
You've got a detailed person.
I have a detailed person. So I have the opposite of me already.
Okay.
So but I want to add the front end person.
Well, let's get a little bit more clarity for you in there too. What do you want this person to do?
I want them to take the calls, work the applications, send out the estimates, explain the estimates to the client.
Junior loan officer type thing.
I want a loan officer, yeah.
Okay. So that's what you could say is a junior loan officer or a loan officer or a loan partner. Yeah. Right now, it has to be licensed too, right?
Right.
Okay, so there are so many people out there, Christy, that are praying for that job.
Okay.
In fact, I feel like they call us all the time too. So there's so many people that are doing 1 to 3 units a month that hate sales, and they're just not. They love everything about the business except for bringing in the business.
Okay.
That's who you need.
Right.
So you want somebody on the DISC profile that's not a high D.
Okay.
I highly recommend that you make sure that they take the DISC profile and that you have somebody that their D is low. If you hire somebody that their D is high, they're going to compete for the same energy as you, and you do not want that.
So what should they be?
You'd want somebody that's you need a high I, because that's the selly, that's the touchy-feely part, that's the intuitive part, that's the being able to listen and have empathy to somebody. Since you're going to have them on the phone with you, you need a high I right there. Yep. Sheira's a high I. I don't even know it, but I can tell because she's been working with me for a long time.
The highest of I's.
But she doesn't have a high D, so she doesn't butt into me. She lets my D run rampant, but there's never any tension between her and I. She's like, oh, it's fine. You can have your dumb name on the thing and bring in like a lot of people, and that's cool because I love people and I love, right? And so it's a really good match. So I think a really good thing that you're being coached by Sheira is find her personality type, and that's what you need.
Okay.
You probably want a little bit higher on the S, though, just like, because she is a pure salesperson too. So you'd want somebody that does. I assume that you want them to do loan apps, right? Do you?
I do. I want them to have a lot of experience and know what they're doing.
Okay, so
I mean, I really am looking for a high caliber person.
High I, high S, high C, low D.
Okay. IS, everything but the D.
Yeah, you want the D being low. And I would lead, you're not going to get it perfect, but if you get a high C, they're going to be a little bit less selly on the phone, but they're going to get everything done. If you lead with a high I, they're going to get a lot more business, but there's going to be some mistakes.
Yeah. I make enough mistakes. I don't need someone else doing that.
Okay, then high S, then high SC with the I being third and the D being 4. It doesn't matter then the high S or C. You just want SC 1, 2, 3 I is a third highest, and then 4 being the lowest one.
And you guys probably have this. Is the disc profile easy to get?
Very easy. If you're not friends with her, you can. Hillary, I don't know if you're listening, but can you have Sarah message?
1, 2, 3 test 1, 2, 3. It's one of those.
Yeah, and she found a different one too. So will you tell Sarah to message Christy the personality profile link? If not, if Hillary's not on Christy, then just message Sarah. She does it internally for our squad.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah. Who's next? So that was a straight tactical question.
Yeah,
right there. That was
awesome.
that was not a mindset question. So who wants to go under Jay Lori, I believe it's Justin. Yeah, and Justin said, can I have it too? If anybody else wants it too, Hillary, why don't you start a post in the Facebook group and say, here's a link to the disc profile so that everybody has access to that. Cool. Who wants to have a little hot seat? Who's got something, as I said, a challenge, a frustration, something on their mind right now that they want to go with me? I'm fired up and I'm ready to serve, so I would highly recommend taking it. If you do, in the chat box, but please call on me. Instead of me just sitting here yapping about something that you might or might not care about, I'd much rather go to a specific. So I see, and you know what? I'm going to say it wrong again. It's going to take me a little bit because it just, when I see that spelled like that, I think of the word tan. So, and I know it's not tan, but
Tan.
So Taun, really, right? So it's Taun. Is that the phonetic spelling of it? You can unmute yourself.
There we are. Yeah, phonetically, that'll work. Yeah.
Okay, that's easy in my brain if I go phonetics.
So I'm a relatively new loan officer compared to my colleagues that are in my group, but I'm experienced in the biz in the sense that I'm probably going to get some chuckles out of the crowd. I'm a former realtor, real estate broker.
That's awesome, man.
20 plus years.
What a great background.
Well, it is, but I didn't use it. This is the one thing that, Sheira and I talked about this on our initial call. We're, a week into the system now, or less than that, whatever it is. And I pretty effectively day one, when I decided to jump ship into the mortgage side, I did a good job making sure that everyone forgot that I was a real estate agent and that I'm now in the mortgage. And that was my goal. And I think I did a pretty good job of it. Because I've ramped up, I'm not doing crazy numbers, but respectable.
Mm-hmm.
What I neglected was, while I did make sure people knew that I wasn't doing real estate anymore, I had that first year where I still had some real estate deals straggling in. It was nice to hand those off to loan officers, great. But I completely neglected 20 plus years of data, contacts,
mm-hmm.
deals, et cetera, the whole thing. Starting scratch, starting new. And I have not gotten into social media. That's one of my things that I want to do now that I am involved in the system. I want to, to leverage that. If you were someone that was not heavy into the social media scene, but has the, I don't even know how many Facebook followers I have. I don't even know. A lot of them are past real estate clients. I've got several thousand in my Outlook database. A lot of it's old. It needs to be cleaned up.
Mm-hmm.
What would you do to try to revive all that, wake it up, effectively leverage that?
So the answer is to be consistent. Don't miss one social post on Thursdays that we do. Mm-hmm. Don't miss one, even if it's not in your voice and it makes you be like, man, I don't know. This goes for all of you guys too. I write a post each week, but if that doesn't jive with you, we have the last 3 years of posts that I've written. And I'll tell you this, almost, the posts have worked individually for everybody. They don't always work collectively. That one post, I can't post a one post and say, that's the magic post that you guys all should do. But what I can tell you is that every one of them was effective for some people in there. And that's on our website, deryckcheney.com. Go to the bottom under clients, and our password is integrity. And then you'll just see the last 3 years of social posts in there. So what I see with newer people is maybe do 2 of those a week. It takes 7 times. This is psychology of marketing, guys. It takes 7 times for somebody to see something for that to be branded in their head that that's what you're doing. Okay, so you need 7. If you only do 1 a week, you'll need 7 posts. If you do 2 a week, you need 3.5. So after that, they're going to see that you've made a switch, and they're going to know. And I'm telling you, everything else that you have in your mind is only a limiting belief or fear around it. And I would say attack it. Don't spend any time thinking about it. Don't think that like it's social media or I don't know how to do that on there. Just go do it. It's the greatest relationship tool that's ever been created. But the only way to know that is if you dive in and just do it, and you start learning by doing. If you wait or you think about it or you want to see how it is, or there's this fear that the first time you do it and then you get crickets and you're not getting enough likes, and then you think it's you, and there's all this headspace that goes in that we do with social media, as opposed to, hey, listen, they're looking at their Facebook feed or their Instagram feed in bed at night at 10:30 to relax. That's what they're doing. I don't know if you see my name. They're doing this. Okay, so it's rarely a one-to-one. It's rarely in marketing. In order for something to hit, they have to be thinking about it in their head already, and then they have to see something, and then that's where there's a one-to-one ratio. But most of the time, it's called an 11 p.m. conversation in marketing. Most of the time, it's like this. They're just scrolling through their feed. They're seeing your post. It goes into their mind. That's one. Next week, they're scrolling. They see you see your post. It goes into their mind. Okay, that's 99% of your network's doing that. There's a point in time. The stats are 1 to 3% of your network is actively either looking for a house or in the market for a refi. So that means 97 to 99% aren't right now. But you have to be in their mind so that when just give you an example. Hey, honey, we're pregnant. Yay. Okay, cool. Well, now we need a bigger house. Okay. The next thought that you want is, I've just seen Todd's messages, call him. That's how it happens. So when you peel back, like, the one that I use in our group, Eric Zanatelli, for example, I know you're new, so you probably don't know him yet, but he's the one that's been consistent, that has been, every week, doing it every week. And now he has, it's insane. I think he said he's closing 25 deals this month. And he doesn't do anything but our system. But he was consistent with it for 2.5 years. Well, now it's been branded in everybody's mind. So his network, and there's this huge compound effect that happens over time. Does that make sense to everybody? I'm looking at everybody's face. Does that make sense to everybody? There's a compound effect to the system. And the mistake that everybody makes is, dude, I did your dumb post. I even did it 3 times and I didn't get a deal. You suck. I want my 585 back. That's the mistake that everybody does. And it's not about business. And when I say that, look, everybody's smiling, right? Because everybody's done that. That's the mindset. That's the mistake of the mindset. And so that's why we're always talking about mindset too. And here, the mindset is, holy moly, I'm going to have 25 deals a month in 2 years. I need to be consistent. I need to be thinking about building systems. I need to do this because I'm going to have a business that's going to be amazing in 12 to 24 months. And I'm excited about that. And that's how I'm building this business. As I said, the mistake that everybody is they're getting really tied into, like, if I just change this part of my video, and if I do this, and Deryck, if I did this, and I did, and I'm like, just do it and go. Boom. Nothing else. Do it, move on. Do it, move on. You guys will have the most amazing business in 12 to 24 months. Does that make sense, everybody? If you say, man, I don't know, I'll get to it next week, you're just delaying it. And if you do this, I did it for like a couple weeks and then like I forgot, then you're okay. Ready for this? If you forgot, that means your network forgot about you too. Okay, so that's where the consistency comes in. And so really it's for you guys to always do a gut check on yourself. Am I really in this business? Am I really want this? Am I really want a big business? Do I really want to have an amazing business that I can then have enough leads that I can set boundaries around, that I can do what Christy just said, that I can have a detailed person on my team and then I can replicate me and build systems around that so that I can build a team and they can start taking those leads? Do I want that? Is that what I want? If the answer is yes, then it takes a consistency of marketing over time so the compound effect kicks in. Does that make sense?
Deryck, could I pipe in again on
Please.
the same question? So I think I camouflaged my real question or diluted or I didn't articulate.
Almost everybody does. So and you're new, so don't worry about it.
Articulate it well enough. I understand from marketing consistency, et cetera, and I've just got to do it, period. It is what it is. I'm also thinking, or I don't say concerned, is I've got old contacts, old deals, old whatever. And I've actually been watching your YouTube videos over the last few days, working out in the morning. And I remember one of them being on reaching back out to past customers that you haven't talked to in a long time. That's what I feel uncomfortable with. And it's people, I mean, I can go back years and years and years.
Yeah.
I'm thinking this is a lot of wasted opportunity that I have. I need to think of a way that I feel comfortable and effective with reaching out to these old ones and putting them into the new platform, this Facebook, or whatever else. I don't see anything but picking up the phone and calling and say, hey, I know we haven't talked in a dozen years back from or whatever it might be, but I have to think of something along those lines to come back and reintroduce people to be able to leverage all the old stuff.
Yeah, and there's and you got this. Honestly, man, this is a mindset question. I can give you the tactics on it, but you really have to check down your mindset on this too, because the mindset, if you said in there, I'm uncomfortable, you're projecting out that they will care that you haven't talked to them in 12 years, and the truth is they don't. They're fine with it. They don't. They're not sitting there. They're not thinking about you. They don't care about you. And that's not a bad thing about you or anything like that. They're just not doing it. So I call it an offer of service. And if you get into the mentality of a waiter and waitress at the end of a meal says, would you like any coffee with that? They're not emotionally tied to your no. And they're not emotionally tied to your yes. But we as humans, when we're trying to sell, we get emotionally tied to that. So a really cool dialogue is just exactly what you said. Hey, I've done a horrible job of keeping track with you. I just want to let you know that I've made a switch into the lending business, and I have a desire to be your lender for life. Are you cool if I send you a Facebook friend request? And ready for this? Like, you can say that if you want to do it on the phone, awesome. And that will work. And I will tell you this, you will get deals from that. Not a lot, but you'll get deals even from that right then. But then you're reintroducing them into your database, and that's going to really, really help out over time. So you can do that on email, you can do it on Messenger, you can do it on text, you can do it on call, you can do it on video, you can do it all that. Now, here's the truth that bums people out is if you take 100 people, there's going to be somewhere between 3 and 7 that will say, sure. And that's just the numbers, right? Some have moved, some have a brother-in-law that are a lender, and that's okay. Is that a little bit closer to your question?
Definitely it is. I mean, like you said, it's mindset. I just have to look at it and just go down the list. Whatever medium
do it like this. This will help you out. Is do one right now during this call.
Okay. That
will help you. And this is the path for all of you guys to get over that fear and to get into action at all. Is everybody, if you notice the way that he asked this question, everybody asks it like this. Like, I have lists in 12 years and 20 years and all this. And then it's like, what do I got to do for that? And then that's where overwhelm comes in, right? So the way to get over all that is to say, I'm going to do one right now. And then when you're done, I'm going to do one right now.
Okay.
And then when you're done, I'm going to do one right now. And then when you're done, I'm going to do 1 right now till it's complete. That's the path for all you guys. Our brains shut down, guys, as humans when we look at, I have 20 years and 2000 and all that. Our brain just, there's no way to connect with people like that on that level. So 1 and you did 5 a day. Well, now you just did 150 this month. So over the course of the year, you just did 2,000 or 1,500 or whatever it is. Does that make sense?
Definitely.
Cool, man. So under Ton was Sarah.
Hey, how are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Awesome.
So really quick, want to piggyback off, I think it's Christy. Was it Christy who went? Kay Hardy?
Yeah.
So she wants this junior loan officer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Sarah wants. And I'm realizing after a couple months that I'm just not happy in the sales role. And
you want to be Christy's person. Not her specifically, but
right.
You're looking for that kind of job.
Well, that's what I think. Because here's why.
Where do you live?
Now, hold on. We have a no recruiting rule in this group, so everybody feels comfortable. But if there is a match, you guys can talk offline. But I want to make sure that everybody knows there's no internal recruiting. But go ahead, Sarah.
So I want to make sure that I am being true to that feeling, because I have faced a lot of resistance over the past couple of months of committing to my system and being happy, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So did that make sense when I told Christy? I said, "Do you know how many people are out there praying?" And did that ring true?
I was like, me, but
I know, and that's why, like, Christy, I want you to hear this, because we talk to these people all day long. You guys think that they're not there, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're there. But let's go back to Sarah and serve you.
So for me, I am facing this. Where do I go from here? Do I have to? It's important to me that I find a team that I can really be proud of and back up.
Well, you have to do one step at a time.
Okay.
So
what do you do?
First step is, what do I really, really want? So I want you to write that down on a piece of paper and stay there before you start getting into, but I got to find a team, and then this team's all that is like overwhelm, right? So what do I really, really want is the only place to go first. And then once you get very clear on that and you have absolute clarity around that, why don't you reach out to Sheira? I feel like within the people that we know, there's only like, you just heard one, right? It happens all, and then both sides happens all the time. So,
right.
So I'm sure that we could give you some recommendations on that.
Okay.
But the key is don't rush. What do you really, really want? And then that what do you really, really want is a big question. It's not just, I want to be, in a secondary role. I don't want to do the sales part. I love, right? And you know what? When I was saying that disc profile, you're that person from what I know about you. Wasn't it? Were you like, oh my God, that's me, Deryck, right? Like,
I actually took one over the weekend because.
What is it? What was it?
I'm a high S, high I.
Yeah. So you hear that, Christy? But then you're a low D, aren't you?
Very low D.
Yeah. You see this?
A little bit of C.
Yeah. Christy, does that make sense when I was going through that with you?
Christy's crying right now.
Where's Christy?
I'm drooling, actually.
No, but I want you to hear like how and this is being recorded. I want you to get the recording back from Hillary so you don't miss anything that I said in there. Do you see how, do you see who that person is right now?
Yeah.
I mean, it's fascinating that's played out on this call.
It is crazy because I really didn't think that person existed.
I know, we never do, because we think everybody's like us. That's the problem.
Yeah. So
everybody thinks that everybody else is like us and wants what we want. And that's not the truth. And especially, Christy, you as a high D, you know how many times I've made that mistake in my career? Like 125 where I've hired then somebody just like me because I think that that's who I need. And then they end up just butting up against me the whole time. You don't do anything. And I'm like, my God, and so it's, you have to get, the upper level is where you can really start hiring on personality profiles and understanding how those people impact you. But that's fascinating that played out, Sarah, like that on here. But again, back to you, Sue, that you feel served. What do you really, really want for you? What's your ideal situation? What's your, and then this is harder for the person that's not a high D. That the high D usually is pretty good at setting boundaries, and you're probably not as good at setting boundaries. So then you have to find out what are your non-negotiables in there. And so that you can say, okay, cool. Well, to feed my family, I need this, and then I need, I'm looking for this, and this is, and it's not even this. This is what I am going to find. And then if you can speak from that place, then you can have great conversations with a lot of people. But the problem is, and this goes for Christy too, goes for anybody in either side, is you don't want to be selling each other. And why we all get into bad relationships, why we get into bad work situations, why we get into bad everything, is everybody's trying to sell people instead of, wait, hold on. This is what I want. This is what I'm committed to finding. What do you want? And what are you committed to finding? Are we a fit? And it's non-emotional instead of, well, what could I say to see if he or she could work for me? Or it doesn't work if it's not like that. So this is like early team building. This is definitely level 2 or level 3, but this is kind of a precursor for this for you guys. I hope that other people are getting value from this too, but it's really, really important when you start getting into, when you build your business. You could see it. Did you see the pain that Christy had? Do you see the pain that Sarah has, right? There's a lot of pain if you guys aren't matching this stuff. So that's why, but we do tackle that pretty tightly in level 2 and level 3, but I'm happy that we started talking about this now. Do you feel served, Sarah? What do you really, really want? That's your only, it's your only thing to find out right now.
Perfect. All right. Thank you.
Yep. Terry, that goes for you too. Terry's like, it's the same thing, right? I was having a conversation with Terry about this not too long ago too. So Terry, that goes for me, that goes for you, right? That's the same process. Okay, cool. Who else can I help here? I see Brian Denton.
Hey, Deryck.
Hey, man.
How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Good, good. I don't know where I went, but I'm still here. So.
That was a funny thing.
Maybe I got a face for radio. I don't know. I put down me as my biggest issue, and what I mean by that, I've been in the system probably almost going on 6 months now, and following it very religiously, and it just seems like as I'm getting busier, I almost get reluctant to doing the system.
Very normal. Yeah.
Okay. And it's almost like I'm afraid of going to another level.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to stop that from happening. You have any recommendations?
Well, there's two. There's a tactical and there's a mindset. So tactical side is you definitely want to be in Sheira's ear about level 2, because there's a really real pain threshold. You just heard it in Christy right now. And if the business is coming in, I want you guys to all hear this. You can only serve to the current capacity that you have. So what everybody does in this business is they operate from fear, and they operate from a limiting perspective. And they're like, well, what if I don't get any loans next month? Or what if the business dries up? And they get into a very limiting place. And then they don't want to take on, you don't want to take on a loan partner, or like what Christy was saying, somebody like her. But it's actually the opposite. If you hire well and you have a good structure, well, now you have a vacuum and you can go serve more people. But what Brian just said is what's going to happen to every single one of you. Terry, Allen, I'm talking to you right now too. Does this make sense? Is this landing for you? Okay. That it will happen for every one of you. You guys will not be consciously aware, although I give Brian a lot of credit because he's self-aware. The way you asked that question was awesome, Brian. But what all of you guys do if you're not self-aware is you will artificially put on the brakes if you don't have capacity. And you will and it manifests like this. You'll stop doing the system. You'll stop calling people back. You'll stop you'll stop. When it happened to me, like I remember I live in this neighborhood, like this resorty neighborhood, and I went to the pool in the summer one day and I didn't have capacity. And I saw a couple of realtors there, and then I saw them go like, "Hey, come here!" And I was like, "I gotta go!" And I ran, and I'm like, "I gotta get out of here!" And like that's kind of my analogy for please don't tell me you have a client right now for me. Like that will drive me crazy. And so that's what'll happen, Brian, to all of you guys. So what level 2 sets out to solve is, where you start creating systems and you can hire people. So that you have capacity, so you have a vacuum there, and that you can keep. So when you're at the pool, you can be like, "Oh, what's going on?" Instead of running from people. But you will do this to yourself, Brian, all day long until you have a fulfillment solution or a capacity solution. If you don't have it, you're going to put the brakes on. That's the truth.
Okay. Yeah.
Tara, what do you just went like, what was that? But you have to unmute yourself. We had this conversation with Tara, or Sheira did, but she told me about it. So
yes, I was just taking a deep breath.
How did that?
Taking it all in.
How did that land for you?
Good, thank you. It helps a lot, definitely.
Cool. Garsh, if you don't mind, but you can go. I was gonna say 5 minutes at the end if you wanted to talk, but you're okay.
No, what I was going to say is that we can talk afterwards one-on-one, but I wanted to just, when you have some major crises happen in your life and you're hitting that, like,
hold on. I want you to use I language if it's happening to you, or if you're using you, then if that's happening to me. But go ahead.
I had some major things happen in my life in the last 30 days.
Okay.
Lost a really good family member.
Okay.
I lost an amazing pet. And then at the same time, my volume was up and I pretty much I backed off the system.
Yeah. For
various reasons. And I am having a hard time getting back in. Since January 1st, I had been very dedicated to doing every Monday through Thursday.
Yeah.
And
hey, you know what? I can already tell that this is definitely a one-on-one.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
So Matt, will you at 2:50 call my cell?
I don't have your cell number.
It's in the message. I message it to you.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
Cool. Yep. Who else right now has something? We have 10 minutes left on this. Who's sitting on something? Who has a challenge, or who has something that's come up, that's percolated to the top right now, and you go, man, I'd love to ask your opinion on this, or I'd love to get some feedback this, or I'd love to get the group's feedback on this. I'm having this kind of block right now in my life or my business. Is there anybody else? Tom, was that you that said, can I jump in again? Or is that not you? You're the last one.
That was from before.
Okay. If anybody else has one, then I'm just looking at the chat box.
Y'all are so quiet today. I'm gonna start calling on people.
If I go quiet, sometimes people get like a little nervous. And
Hashtag Alex.
Alex, let's talk to you, dude.
What's going on? As I'm typing on the computer over here, I hear my name in the background. I'm like, well, what? Huh?
Do you have any challenges right now? Is everything kicking in your business?
Things are a little bit slowed down, it seems like, over the last few weeks. I think, with the scare and the interest rates going up a little bit, I've seen people backing off, and I think that, it might have affected the mindset of not only the loan officers in my office, but the people on the street too. So, rates were in the 5s on some of my deals right now, like in the low 5s versus, they were 4.5 a month ago. So I'm seeing probably a little bit of a slowdown, which is probably giving everybody a little bit of a mental block overall.
Well, let's talk about you first. Is it giving you a mental block?
I would say, yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. So this is, I love that. And
this is theme number 2 of the week, by the way.
I know, like right what he said. I just wanted to see if it was hitting for him first. But I guarantee that if you're going through that, everybody is going through that.
Yeah.
So guys, here's our reality is that you need to be the good news brigade, not the bad news brigade to everybody. Okay. So everybody has to shift their mindset to that. This is great news. It's great news for our economy. It's great news for us from a historical perspective. It is great news for you and your business, because ready for this? This is how you guys shift. I cannot tell you how much market share you will pick up by staying through the raising rate environments. Okay, I'm going to show you all this, and you guys are going to all think that I'm bragging, but I'm not. Okay, I'm showing you this to make a point. My best year, I'm not endorsing any company either, if anybody sees it, but here's my, can you see that, Sheira? Can you see the year and the millions?
Yes.
Wow.
Okay. But look at the year. This is what I'm showing you. This is the year.
2010, baby.
And look at the millions. I'm going to tell you this. This is why. Because of 2008. That's how I was able to do that. And I want you guys to all hear this, that I didn't do anything different in 2010 than I did in 2006 or 2007 and 2008, 2009 and 2010. I didn't do anything. I just stayed consistent, and I stayed in the business. Guys, there are so many low marginal loan officers that will get out in these raising rate environments. And so you are picking up market share. So this is a business term for when a loan officer leaves a business, that's good. That means you have more business. And in 2010, like my pastor in my church used to call me Forrest Gump, because he was like, dude, you just stayed around long enough and there was nobody left. And it was literally in my town. There was like, does anybody know a mortgage person? Deryck, right? Is it like Deryck, right? Like that was my story. That's how I did it. So whereas everybody, Alex, bemoaned, right? Exactly how you just said it, bemoaned 08 and was starting to get like, maybe I should go get a salaried job. And all the loan officers went and got salaried jobs at Fannie Mae as auditors, right? And, I don't know if you remember that whole thing. And and they left and everybody did that. Well, just by staying in and just getting consistent. Now, if you guys have ever seen the money module that I did in level 1, you can look and I go into it. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I gave you real numbers. Like, I don't remember off the top of my head, but I told you how much I made in 2008, and it was definitely 60% or 50% or something way lower than what it had been. And but if you do good, if you take care of your business and you do that money module where you live on a salary, whether you're making a ton of money or whether you're making not a lot of money, you will come out so far ahead. I mean, you literally will have those years, and you guys can take 111 million and figure out basis points. You can figure out close to what I made that year. I couldn't have done that without 08. I couldn't have done that without a raising rate environment. And so the shift, this goes back to that original conversation that I had with you guys to start off with. It's never the situation. It's always your thoughts about the situation. That's what causes either an optimistic viewpoint or a pessimistic viewpoint. So if your thoughts about a raising rate environment are, I need to go get a salary job, then you're part of the masses, and that's what they're going to do, and you're going to cost yourself millions over the course of your career. If your thought is all those people are going to freak out and live in fear, and they're going to go get salary jobs, hence I'm going to make millions in a couple years if I just stay consistent. If that's your thought, you guys will kill it and you'll win. But if you give in to fear and you don't do that, and you listen too much to the news and you listen to whatever the doomsday brigade is saying right now, and you're not the good news, and you don't take historical concept, it's always happened, right? I was listening to a YouTube video by John Rockefeller last night, and it was in 1932, and he's talking about, well, the markets have always gone up and always gone down, right? This was in the Great Depression. So prosperity will definitely come back. And that's just the cycle. That's what happens. That's what's happening, right? You got John D. Rockefeller 100 years ago soothing people in the Great Depression about that. And so if you guys can just stay in, but you do need to watch your money. You can't do the loan officer. I just closed 15 loans and I bought a new boat. And then next month, like, I have 2 loans, I'm selling my boat, right? Like, you can't do that cycle. And if you can stay out of that cycle and say, I have 2 accounts, this is my salary, and I put all my money into one account and then I only take a salary out each month. As I said, 2008, I was like, man, I got a lot of free time on my hands. I mean, but I just stayed consistent right there. And we had the money in the account because I was doing it smartly. And
can I just interject one thing too?
Please.
So the other aspect of this, guys, too, along what Alex is sharing is, if you are having fearful negative thoughts around rising rates, guess what's transferring to your potential buyers?
Yeah.
So we have a lot of folks out there that are doing a lot of marketing around fear around raising rate environment.
Yeah.
Be the calm, provide peace of mind.
Be the good news. Yeah, be the good news.
Good news, change the narrative, because that's what will prevent shopping. That's what allows people to want to work with you, regardless of whether someone else is an eighth lower or a quarter lower. Don't perpetuate this cycle of fear.
Yeah, and because here's the other thing, guys. In 08, I did a lot of refis, and you go, really, how? Well, because we could still get in the beginning of 08, you could still get appraised value. So you guys right now, you have appreciation on your side. You have cash out refis. You have markets right now where people have made $100,000, $200,000 in just appreciation. So although they have a 3.875 right now, they have a $100,000 block that's going up. And if they have prime plus 2, they're at 7 something right now, right? And they have credit cards in this. You can roll those in right now because you have appreciation on your side. And so and somebody goes, well, I don't want to get a higher interest rate on this. It's the blended rate. It's what your overall blended rate is, plus fixing it in, because here's the truth, rates are going to keep going up. So if you have any variable rates right now, you've got to fix that whole thing in. So your message just always has to change and be in a positive place. Like, that's the message right now. It's a huge blessing. Appreciation's up. Rates are going up because our economy is doing fantastic right now. Let's look at your overall financial picture. Let's get you guys into a place that's good for you. 5%, again, historically, it's silly, right? That's silly. For any of you guys that have been doing this business for a long time, I remember when it hit 5.25, I was like, my goodness, that is amazing. Right? So historically, we're great. Our economy is awesome. This is a fantastic time to be a buyer. You ready for this, guys? This is going to blow your mind. This is the best time to be a loan officer. The best, because it's a professionals market now. It is not when you're at 3.25 right now, anybody can go get a loan by walking to their freaking mailbox, right? But when you're in a raising rate environment, you got to be good. You got to be an expert. You got to be giving value like how you guys are. And this is the best market because this is where all of the fakers go away. All of the part-timers go away. This is where this is where the professionals thrive and you stay in. I'm telling you, it's always like this. I love this time. And if I was getting back in the business, this is when I would get back in the business right now. This is when you want to be building your business right now. This is the best time, because then ready for this? Because this is how it happens with rates too. So let's say that they rise up to 5.5 by the end of the year. Okay, something will happen in the economy and you go from 5.5 to 4.5, even if we're in an upward trend, because it never goes like this. It goes choo, 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 right? So then now you just have a database of people at 5.5 that you can call and do no cost refis for at 4.5. You can literally, so you go, dude, how'd you do 111 million? Like, how did you really do that? And I'm like, it doesn't take any skill or time to call you, Alex, and say, hey, listen, I can lower your rate by 1% right now, and I can do it either a no cost or we can do it with cost. Let's run those two numbers. That takes no skill. All you gotta do is one loan a day, right? And when you have a database of all the people that know and trust you, you're good. You're done. So that's how I did it. When you go, dude, how did you do that? I just came in and said, I'll do a loan a day. And I locked one loan a day. And then I had a team. And it's simple when you've taken care of yourself and you've built your business the right way. It's simple. It's just a phone call. I love this market. And with that, I'm feeling pretty fired up for you guys. And I am going to exit here. Hopefully that was helpful for each and every one of you guys. You guys have a great day, and I will talk to you soon. Reach out if you need anything.